Just wanted to do a video on inflation. It's something we're all grappling with right now, especially if, like me, you're a single mom on the low end of a lower middle class income. So everything's more expensive now. Obviously, groceries are almost double, so it's harder than ever to make ends meet. So I've been doing what I can to try to save money and make things last longer. I'll show you a few examples. So back in the day, in the before time, I don't know, chicken was like $5 a package, and then it went up to 7, and then it was 11, and now it's like 15 or something ridiculous. So what I used to do is I'd make the whole package of chicken and then have a lot of leftovers. There's just Michelle and I, so we wouldn't eat that much, and then I'd use it in soup and sandwiches and salads. But a lot of it would get wasted. So now what I do is I divide the pack in half. So I only cook half right away and half I put in the freezer. I didn't used to put meat in the freezer, but you can. So it makes it last a lot longer than you have 2 chicken dinners. And things that I found I wasn't using, like cucumbers. I was buying cucumbers and I never got around to eating them, and then I end up throwing it out. So I just don't buy them now. It's like, to have veggies and dip, I'll have carrots and cherry tomatoes. And celery I love because when I cut it up and peel it, I use some of it with the chicken dinner because I love it roasted, but I also like it to dip with dip. Certain things that I just stopped buying, like I used to buy sour cream for tacos, but what would always happen is, you know, we'd have tacos once a week or once a month, whatever, and the sour cream, I didn't use it for anything else, and it got thrown out, most of it. So I'm like, there was one time I didn't have sour cream and I made do with mayonnaise, and I really couldn't tell the difference. Now I just use mayo. So another thing, I love spices like turmeric or oregano, and they're kind of expensive to buy the bottle each time you're out. So it's actually cheaper if you just get it in a bag and then refill the bottle. So that saves you some money there. So I just do that. Also, when I make tacos, I used to just use the whole package and use the whole pack of ground beef or ground chicken. I actually use ground chicken now for everything. What I do now, I only use half the pack. So when I brown ground chicken, I'll take half of it and put it away to use for tacos, and then I'll use half this package for that. And then the other half I put in spaghetti sauce. So I get 2 meals out of 1 package of the ground chicken. So things like that, just stretching things out, using it for more meals, and just trying not to waste food because everything is so expensive now, like it's ridiculous. One thing I've been paying attention to as well is produce. So things like bananas and strawberries, we love them, but they have to be used up within the first week. Like when we used to go grocery shopping, it was very stressful, and I only did it once every 2 weeks. Well, now I buy my groceries online, so we don't have to go out at all, but I still only do it every 2 weeks. And the way that I shop online is the way that I would shop in the store. I have everything organized by category as though I was walking through the store. So the produce is first, and then like the bread and the deli, and it goes through like that anyway. So for produce, bananas and strawberries, we have to use those in week 1 because otherwise they go bad. Apples keep a long time. Apples will keep for a month, so I have those throughout. And grapes. Grapes are quite expensive now for a bag of red grapes, but they're really good. Like they keep a long time, so I might only get them once a month and they last me. So things like that. I mean, just trying to make do and stretch things out, and because groceries are so much more. So another thing I've been doing just to try to save expenses, now this is something I did even before this inflation nightmare, even before the pandemic. I call it living for free in the spring and fall, because what I do, once the weather is nice, that you don't really need air conditioning and you don't really need heat, I try to live without. So in September, I turned the air conditioning up to 75. Actually, I turned it up to 78. And then there were a couple of times I had to turn it back down to 75. But overall for September, we lived with no air conditioning because it was just nice enough. Now in October, it started getting quite cold recently, and I actually switched from air conditioning to heat, but I turned the heat to 60. Now this is all Fahrenheit, of course. So 60 Fahrenheit is like 15.5 degrees Celsius approximately. So, I mean, obviously comfortable, what I call room temperature is 73, which is 22.5 Celsius. But you can live at like 68, which is 20 degrees Celsius. And so actually it's worked out okay, except it started getting down really cold. And I'm like, oh my God, like 60 is way too cold. I don't want to go that far, even though my mom keeps her house at 62. But yeah, so it went down to 62, which was really bad. But now, today, like outside, it's like 73. It's like, I don't know, 21 degrees. It's beautiful outside. It's still 66 in the house, but we're making do. We've been wearing layers, like wearing sweatshirts and everything, bundling up. And I've actually heard that if you're able to tolerate it, being in like low 60s temperatures, you build up your brown fat. Now brown fat is good fat because it's active, and it actually helps you to burn fat because it burns fat to keep you warm. So trying to live in a cooler temperature is actually a good way to burn some extra calories. Now I know it's not comfortable. I like being warm and I don't like being cold, but we just bundle up, and we've been wearing like cozy socks and sweatshirts, and it's so nice to get into your cozy bed at night, the covers. But yeah, I've been doing that because I'm trying to hold off putting on the heat as long as possible, because God knows what the heating bill is going to be once I turn the furnace on. So yeah, and I changed the filter and everything. So I mean, it's hard, it's a struggle, and at least I don't have to worry about things that most people have to worry about, like gas prices. I mean, I've only had to go out a couple of times, and I mean, the gas is ridiculous. That price has gone down a little bit, but it's the highest I've ever seen. I don't go anywhere, so now we're saving money, at least on gas. And we don't eat fast food anymore, because ever since Michelle learned that monkeypox is airborne and surface, she worries about surfaces. She's like, okay, that's it. Boycotting fast food, so we don't go to McDonald's anymore. So that's saving us a lot of money. We don't go to fast food restaurants. We don't go to the movies since the pandemic. We're still not. So we're saving a lot of money on things by not going. We don't go on outings, so we're home all the time. So that saves us money. I try to, you know, look for sales and anything I can and save on the groceries. But oh my God, so now they've raised the interest rates. Like, they keep raising them and raising them. It's horrible. Like, I don't know, they're trying to financially ruin everyone. Like, how does that help with inflation? How does raising interest rates help inflation? I guess because people can't afford their homes anymore, so they'll be out on the street. When people die in the street, maybe the prices will come down because no one can buy anything when they're dead. Like, what are you thinking? Like, thanks a lot. Like, my income's not growing, and yet all my expenses keep growing. Now, here's the thing. I went with a variable rate mortgage. Now, at the time, okay, so when I first got my first house, I am a control freak. So of course I got a fixed rate mortgage. And at the time the rates were low. I got like 2.25%, whatever it was. It was like 2%. So that was great. But when I went to renew my mortgage, they'd gone up a bit. It was still less than 3%. So I still had a fixed rate mortgage. Well then, you know, the 5 years is up, go to get my mortgage renewed again in my new house, and the rates were terrible. Like, they were like 4%, 5%. I'm like, I'm not paying that. Like, so I tried to negotiate something better, and the woman actually convinced me to go with a variable rate mortgage, which at the time was 3%, 3.3, whatever. So I'm like, variable, it just sounded so scary to me because the rates can go up and down. And I thought, like, what if, you know, then my payments are more? And she says, the way that it works, your payments stay the same no matter what. So even if the rates go up and down, your payment stays the same. But if the interest rate goes up, you're paying more interest than principal. That's not ideal, but I took the gamble because I wanted a lower interest rate. Well, it paid off for the first couple of years. I was like, this is great. The rates kept going down. I was like paying less than 2%. I even bumped up my payments a bit so that I was paying more of the principal down. Like, sometimes I'd look at the accrued interest and it was 0. I'm like, this is amazing. I shaved like 2 years off my mortgage. I'm like, this is awesome. Nope. Now I've lost all my gains. I have lost. Like now it's added years onto my mortgage because the interest rate is so high now, and I'm with variable, and I'm like, okay, but I try to think of it this way. If I had gone with a fixed rate, I would have been paying a higher rate all that time. I would have been paying like 5% for an extra 2 years. So, you know, what the woman told me at the bank when she first talked me into it was, if you look at like the life of your mortgage, variable tends to do better. It just does, because when you have a fixed rate, they're going to lock you in at a higher rate because you're locked in. So the variable goes up and down, and the prime rate is not exactly what you pay. Like the mortgage rate is different. They base it on that. But if the prime rate is really high, they'll do like minus 0.8% to get the mortgage rate. And if it's really low, they do plus 0.8%. But anyways, long story short, too late. I did save some money when the interest rates were low, but now, you know, screw me, because already I'm paying more for groceries and it's already a struggle, and then now my interest rate is more. So all my expenses are higher. So I really don't know how that helps inflation. Like, thanks a lot, Bank of Canada. Like, you're just basically, anyone that's already struggling is now struggling even more. I don't see how that helps. You're actually going to push us into, I don't know, a recession, a depression. I don't know. If someone can explain to me how raising the interest rates helps anyone that's, you know, lower middle class, like, I'd love to hear it, because I think it pretty much just benefits the rich. If you're already wealthy and you have a ton of money just sitting around, I guess you're making a higher interest rate on it. But for the rest of us, like, no, does not help. So yeah, so I just wanted to vent about that because it has been really tough. And yeah, it's hard. And I mean, and I still want to do things for Michelle and get her presents and everything. Like, I've already been getting some of her Christmas presents. So what I've been doing is like cashing in points. Like, I get optimum points with my groceries, so then I can spend that at Shoppers Drug Mart and I can order things online. So I got her like some stuffies and things like that. So, you know, I'm trying to be creative about, you know, still getting things and still buying things when everything has gone up. Like, it's absolutely outrageous. Like, I mean, a package of spaghetti used to be $1 and now it's like $3. Like, everything's doubled or tripled. Oh my God. And the sizes, like, packages, you go to open a package and it's like, it's almost empty. Like, the other thing that companies seem to be doing is they're giving you less for more money. Like, a package of peanut bacon, the whole package used to be full, and it would more than fill the pan. Well, now I opened the same package and yet it's half empty. It doesn't even fill the pan now. And things like broccoli, which used to be a full bag, and now it's like you open it, it's almost all air. Like, it's 1/3 of the bag. It is so. It's frustrating because, like, they're not fooling anybody. We can see the package is half empty and you're charging double for it. So it's really frustrating, but what do you do? Because you've got to eat. Like, I mean, we can go without fast food, we can go without going to the movies, but we can't go without groceries. So you still have to eat. You just have to do your best. And like I said, try to... Oh, Allie! Silly girl. Just a sec. Allie was meowing away, so I thought I might as well have her on video. Silly girl. She's meowing for her treats. So, and another thing I've been doing is, because I order everything online, we do not go to stores anymore. So I order my groceries, and then I also get some supplies from Staples. Because Staples, if you order $35 worth of stuff, they have free shipping. So, and you can get, you know, like, you obviously can't get fresh groceries, but you can get your pantry stuff. Like, you can get apple juice, Minute Maid, the drinking boxes. You can get pop, like Coke Zero. You can get paper towels and toilet paper and Kleenex and that stuff. So, and sometimes the prices are better than the grocery store or worse. So I always pay attention, like, where is it cheapest? Maybe I'll get it from them. And even Amazon, you can get some stuff on Amazon. Although, oh my gosh. Okay, so we want to talk about inflation and price gouging. I have seen some crazy stuff on Amazon. Okay, so on Amazon, sometimes I'll get things like macaroni and cheese. I'll get like stovetop stuffing, like I got for Thanksgiving. And usually these things are just like low prices, like it's a grocery store. Well, one time there was no stuffing, like you couldn't get it, chicken stuffing. And they had it for a ridiculous price. Before the pandemic, my favorite drink was Diet Pepsi Wild Cherry. You can't get it anymore. Like they just don't have it. Like with the pandemic and supplies were low and they just kept it to the basics, I guess. So my favorite drink I couldn't get. Well, they do sell it on Amazon, but they sell for like 30 bucks. Like, excuse me, are you out of your mind? Like, there's no way. So no, I mean, I settled for Diet Dr. Pepper, which you get for like 5 bucks, whatever, just a normal price. But some of the things I found on Amazon, like, are you kidding me? Like, look at this. Yeah, I guess it's supply and demand, right? If somebody wants something badly enough and that's the only way they can get it. Even if I was rich, even if I was wealthy and could afford anything, I could not spend $30 for a case of pop or for a bag of chips, or like, it's just absurd, some of the prices. But I mean, it's price gouging, right? Because supply and demand. Like, even I've noticed some of Michelle's stuffies that, you know, little Beanie Boos that I got for, I don't know, 6 bucks back in the before time, and I found them for like $50. So yeah, it's crazy. I mean, you do the best you can. I know there's people that are struggling even more. I don't know how some people even manage. Like, some people have to work 2 and 3 jobs just to make ends meet because everything's gone up. I don't know how anyone buys a house now. Like, you need $500,000 to buy any house. Like, my first house went up quite a bit in value, but this house, like, it's pretty much tripled already. So then you think, oh wow, well, you could sell your house, but where would I move that's cheaper than this? So there's nowhere to, and I wouldn't want to go through a move. So it's like, yeah, well, it's nice that it's gone up in value, but everything is so ridiculous now. Like, it just, how could it go on this way? How could anyone afford a house now? Like, I don't understand it. And interest rates are so high. Like, it's insane. Like, everything's insane. And then the pandemic, and everyone's pretending it's not happening. It just, I don't know, what do you do? Anyway, I'm grateful that we're able to stay home and stay safe. And like I said, I do the best that I can with what we have, and I am grateful. We're still blessed, even on our worst day. So anyway, take care, stay safe, and hopefully deal with inflation the best you can. And yeah, so.